Cracking the code. Whose versus whose. Hello, English learners. Today we're going to tackle a common and sometimes confusing pair of words in the English language. Whose and whose. These words may sound the same, but they serve completely different functions in sentences. Let's uncover the mystery behind these two. Whose is a contraction, a shortened form of two words. Who is or who has. The apostrophe replaces the missing letters. For example, who's going to the party means who is going to the party. Who's had enough means who has had enough. Remember, whose is always short for who is or who has. On the other hand, whose is a possessive interrogative pronoun. This means it's used to ask questions about ownership or possession. For example, whose book is this? Whose car is parked outside? In both these cases, we're asking about who the owner of the book or car is. So remember, whose asks about ownership. One common mistake is using whose when expressing possession, or using whose when you mean to say who is. This often happens because the two words sound the same. But let's see how to avoid this confusion. 1. If you can replace the word with who is or who has, then whose is the correct choice. Try this out in a sentence. For example, whose this book doesn't make sense if you replace whose with who is or who has. So, it's incorrect. 2. If the sentence is about ownership or possession, then whose is the correct choice. Let's take our incorrect sentence from the first point, whose this book, and replace whose with whose. We get whose is this book, or even better, whose book is this, which sounds much more natural and correct. So there you have it. Whose is a contraction of who is or who has, and whose is used to ask about ownership or possession. Misusing these can change the meaning of your sentence, but with practice, you'll master these in no time. Keep practicing, and soon you'll be using whose and whose like a pro. Until next time, happy learning.